All right, picture this. It's the 1930s, just outside Baghdad. Modern archaeologists are digging through an ancient site, expecting old pottery or broken jars. Pretty standard day. But then they uncover something strange. A small clay jar with a copper tube inside. And inside that, an iron rod. Not exactly your average ancient lunchbox. Later, researchers tried rebuilding it. And when they filled a replica with an acidic liquid, it actually made a tiny electric charge. Nothing crazy, just buzz your finger tiny. So people started wondering, wait, is this an ancient battery? And the answer is, maybe, but we don't actually know. Some scientists think it could have worked as a primitive battery. Others say it was probably just a container or maybe used in rituals. Nothing is confirmed. And that mystery is what makes it fascinating. Was it science? Was it symbolism? Or did someone just accidentally invent a battery while trying to store ancient soup? Let's break down what we actually know. So, let's talk about how this whole mystery actually began. Back in 1936, workers and researchers were excavating a site called Kujut Rabu near modern-day Baghdad. They were clearing through layers of history when they noticed a small clay jar buried in the dirt. At first glance, it didn't look special, just another ancient pot. But when they opened it, things got interesting. Inside the jar was a rolled copper cylinder. Inside that cylinder was an iron rod. And the top was sealed with a bitumen plug, kind of like ancient hot glue. This setup was not normal for containers of that time. Most jars held grains, oil, maybe some old scrolls. But copper and iron stuck inside each other? That's unusual. The artifact ended up in the Iraq Museum, where researchers began asking, what was this thing for? Was it a tool? A ritual object? Something scientific? Or something we still haven't figured out? And that's the moment the mystery was born. Because this weird clay jar didn't fit neatly into any category. It was old, it was strange, and it clearly had a purpose. But the purpose wasn't obvious. And that question, what was it used for, would lead to one of the most debated theories in archaeology. Let's take a closer look at what makes this thing so unusual. Because once you really zoom in, the mystery gets a whole lot bigger. First, we've got the clay jar itself, pretty typical for its time. But inside the jar is a tightly rolled copper cylinder. It wasn't just tossed in there, it was crafted. Then inside that copper cylinder, an iron rod. So you've basically got a metal sandwich. A very old, very weird metal sandwich. And the top of the jar was sealed with bitumen, kind of a tar-like substance. That seal would have kept liquid from leaking out, which is important because the copper and iron don't do much on their own. But if you pour in something acidic like vinegar or grape juice and let the metals react, you get a tiny electrical charge. We're talking small. Like, don't try to power your iPhone with this unless you have a million of them small. The metals, the design, the seal, they all line up perfectly with how a simple galvanic cell works, which is why some researchers think this might have been an early version of a battery. But again, that's just one interpretation. The artifact itself never came with instructions. There's no ancient manual that says, Step 1, add vinegar. Step 2, shock your friends. What we can say for sure is this. The components look like a device built for a purpose beyond simple storage. But what purpose? That's where the theories start. All right, so now that we know what the Baghdad Battery is, let's talk about what it might have been for. Theory 1. Electroplating. Some researchers think the Baghdad Battery was used for electroplating, meaning ancient craftspeople might have coated metal objects with a thin layer of gold or silver. Imagine that. You're in ancient Mesopotamia and your boss hands you a rusty bracelet. He's like, "Here, make this shiny." And you're like, "Sure, let me grab my clay pot battery real quick." This theory became famous because a researcher recreated the battery, hooked it up to some vinegar, and actually managed to electroplate a tiny piece of metal. So it's physically possible, but here's the catch. There is zero archaeological evidence of electroplating workshops in the same region. No tools, no wires, no plating equipment, nothing. So while it works, it might not have been used that way. Theory 2, a simple scientific curiosity. Another idea? It might have been used as a teaching tool, kind of like a Mesopotamian science experiment. Imagine a priest or scholar showing this device and saying, "When copper and iron touch vinegar, lightning in a jar appears." This theory makes sense because the Mesopotamians were incredibly curious thinkers. They recorded astronomy, medicine, math, and chemistry-like recipes long before most civilizations. So maybe the battery wasn't a tool, but a demonstration of natural forces. Theory 3, a storage jar that got misinterpreted. Now here's the boring but realistic theory. It might not be a battery at all. It might be just a storage jar that happened to break in a weird way. Archaeologists found many similar vessels used for scrolls, papyrus, and small documents. The metal rod could have been part of a lid, and when it fell apart, it looked like a battery by accident. Yeah, I know. It's not the coolest explanation, but it's possible. So which theory is true? Honestly, we don't know. There isn't enough evidence to confirm any theory 100%. The Baghdad Battery stays a strange, fascinating mystery, one that might show how clever ancient people really were. So after all this, what do we really know about the Baghdad Battery? First, it's real. Archaeologists did find it, and replicas can produce a tiny electric charge. Second, it's old, around 2,000 years old, made by people who were already brilliant at metalwork, pottery, and early chemistry. Third, its purpose? That's where it gets mysterious. We have a few ideas. It might have been used for electroplating, as a science experiment, or maybe it was just a storage jar that got misinterpreted. And the truth is, we don't know for sure. That's the beauty of archaeology. Sometimes the mystery is just as exciting as the answer. We get a tiny glimpse of human creativity and curiosity from centuries ago, and we're left wondering, how clever were these people, really? So next time you see a simple clay jar, remember, it could be hiding secrets that make you rethink history. The Baghdad Battery remains one of the strangest, most fascinating artifacts ever discovered. And maybe, just maybe, a reminder that curiosity is electric.